Shabbat Shalom. Happy New Year. Happy 2022. It is such a gift to be together as always. My name is Rabbi Aviva Funky, in for Rabbi Andy Green and for Cantor, Dannah Rubinstein, new mama, who just gave birth this week to their son, she and Keith. So a big mazal tov. I am joined with my husband, Yosef, who will be on some percussion for us this morning. And I see we have Bracha and Melvin and Jerry. If you are streaming with us this morning, please do say Shabbat Shalom. Let us know where you're tuning in from, if you are here in our community or outside from it. We have a special service this morning. This is an opportunity to slow down. This is an opportunity to reconnect with what tefillah is. So much of our prayer experience can be quite rushed. We have a lot of things to do and beautiful, soulful, holy things to do in our tefillah experience. And with it being January 1st and things slowing down a little bit, we thought this would be a really great time to reconnect to what we're doing here in the first place. And so the intention this morning is to slow down. The intention this morning is to slow down and to have a deeper connection to the words in our book and maybe the ones in our heart as well, hopefully too. And that in the future, as we move forward in our prayer time together, we'll have new shared experiences of real moments made. So I welcome you this morning to simply just be present to yourself. We're going to use that same melody. We have additional little supplements that you will find in the link that was shared with you. For those of us joining in person, we have a supplement page. And we're going to be sharing the idea of our fresh, holy soul with Moda Ani. The words are found on page 99, which says, how grateful we are simply just to be alive. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. Settle in. Hi, Harmony. How are you? I love your gloves. It's a perfect morning for some gloves. As we awaken to this day, we take a breath. A breath first to clear our minds, and then again to bring an affirmation of our beingness. So do that now. We'll take a breath to clear the mind. And now a breath to affirm we are, in fact, here in this world. When the infinite realized the world was missing something, it was you who was created. You were the missing link. As you have your eyes closed, I want you to feel the tenderness of your existence and the power of your presence. We're going to sing together a new chant for most of us, the words of Elohai Neshama, which are found on page 99. And the supplement will have some of the English words for us as well. Good morning. Yes, please come in. Hello. We have a supplement, a little extra page for you. Siddur is right under the front of your chair there. We are singing the words of Elohai Neshama, recognizing that it was the infinite who gave you your spark. And we have these words which says, you've created me, you formed me, and you breathed life into me. We're on 99 in that first little, that first section, or the second after Modani. Connecting to the fact that it is you God needed in this world. as we sit here. Good morning. Shabbat Shalom. What's your name? Jed. Happy to have you. Welcome. Happy New Year. Hopefully the link for the supplement, just a few pieces this morning in particular coming up. If you do have the Siddur Lev Shalem, it is what we are using this morning. We're going to pause to read out of it there. If you don't have a Lev Shalem, it is available online, the Siddur Lev Shalem. You can get the full Shabbat morning prayer book online. Good morning, Shabbat Shalom. This morning we have a special, unique Shabbat morning service to help us dive a little bit deeper and a little bit open to the tefillah this morning. So we're going to have some new music, some familiar things, but a real, more of a learner's minion to reintegrate our prayer experience. So hopefully it feels comfortable, and we're so happy to have you. I'm Rabbi Aviva. I'm not sure we've had a chance. Nice to meet you. We are going to take a moment to connect to our bodies. So much of our prayer space can be so mental, can be so intellectual, and it can be so deeply spiritual. But our bodies often seem to be forgotten through the process. And even though we know so much of our tefillah has to do with breath, we actually have these beautiful passages that help us to feel connected to the body. I want to invite us together. We're on the bottom of 99 in the English. We're going to make a blessing together that recognizes the infinite for the bodies. And good morning, Mike. Shalom. It's so good to see you. The body paragraph on the bottom of 99. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, who crafted the human body with wisdom, creating within it many openings and passageways. It is known and revealed to you that should even a single passageway rupture or a single opening close up, it would no longer be possible to exist and stand before you. Baruch atah Adonai, healer of all flesh, who creates wondrously. Take a moment to feel your sit bones, your back and your shoulders, your legs, maybe even relax your head and neck, to just honor your physical body with all of its ways, taking a nice breath into your belly. This is your vehicle, your gift. We read the intention for the new day found on the left side of 99. Join me. Master of all worlds, may it be your will that the light of your face be reflected in mine. May my mouth speak only what is true, my eyes see the good in all that I meet, and may my ears be attentive to the troubles of those who address me. May I breathe the awe of you, so that I lovingly face all I meet. May the words I utter be acceptable to you, my rescuer and protector. Beautiful. We take a moment to acknowledge the holiness of the space, the fact we have a place to pray, whether it is in our kitchen, our sanctuary, wherever it may be. I invite us to join in the words of Matzovu on 101. Every morning we wake up with the opportunity to give thanks to God. Good morning, Shabbat Shalom. Happy to have you. Every morning we have a list of these brachot, And the tradition is we stand, we recite blessing after blessing after blessing, and it can be so easy to lose sight of what these blessings are. This morning in our experiment of fun and unique ways of praying, which is all about what this morning is. So if you are here totally taken by surprise, you're in for a treat, and I hope it feels good. Good morning, Frank. It's nice to see you. Shabbat shalom. So this morning on your supplement, you will see that there is a renewed blessing. It's called the Birkot HaShachar, and it's a new day blessing. And I want to invite us an opportunity. If you feel like you would just like to do the traditional davening of the Birkot HaShachar on 103, I want to give you absolutely the opportunity to do that. But again, the point of this particular morning is to find a renewed relationship to what our tefillah is about and what is going on in the book. So this particular chant, what we're going to do is we're going to be chanting these blessings in an English poem here that I've been working on for a long time to find a way to bring this into our lives. And so we have a chorus that we're going to sing together, and you'll see there on the Birkot HaShachar a list of these blessings. When we get to the end of my list here, I'm hoping that you will help add to the ones that are not in our book, meaning the blessings that you would like to add as gratitude for what the source has given each of us. So it goes like this. It's a new day and a chance to say thank you for my blessings in every way. It's a new day and a chance to say thank you for my blessings in every way. We're going to try that. Please join me. Here we go. It's a new day and a chance to say thank you for my blessings in every way. It's a new day and a chance to say thank you for my blessings in every way. Here we go. Praised are you, source of life, who lets my mind know between day and night. Praised are you, source of life, who made me in the image of your holy light. It's a new day and a chance to say thank you for my blessings in every way. It's a new day and a chance to say thank you for my blessings in every way. Praise are you, source of life, who made me free to be fully me. Amen. Praise are you, source of life, who made me a Jew with mitzvot to do. Praised are you, source of life, who helps me stand tall and open up my eyes. Praised are you, source of life, who helps me get dressed so I can feel my best. It's a new day and a chance to say thank you for my blessings in every way. It's a new day and a chance to say thank you for my blessings in every way. Praised are you, source of life, who frees me from limiting beliefs. Praised are you, source of life, who gave us the earth, water, and sky. Praised are you, source of life, who gives us all we need to survive. Praised are you, source of life, who strengthens my steps so I can do what's right. It's a new day and a chance to say thank you for my blessings in every way. It's a new day and a chance to say thank you for my blessings in every way. Praised are you, source of life, who gives us the courage, all we gotta do is try. Praised are you, source of life, who crowns us with the beauty that shines. Praised are you, source of life, who strengthens the weary with enduring might. It's a new day and a chance to say thank you for my blessings in every way. It's a new day and a chance to say thank you for my blessings in every way. What do you say? It's your turn. What do you say? This is how it's going to go. We're going to go like this. Praised are you, source of life, who, and then you get to fill in the blank, okay? So you're going to think about it for a minute, okay? Praised are you, source of life, who
gives me my children every day and night.
who gives her children every day and night. Amen. Praised are you, source of life, who gives him the patience to those who don't see his way of life. Amen. Praised are you, source of life, who nice, gives us the courage to do what's right. Praise are you, source of life, who ooh, happy is everybody with their life. New day and a chance to say thank you for my blessings in every way. It's a new day and a chance to say thank you for my blessings in every way. Those are online. You're welcome. What is it that God brings into your world? What are the blessings that you want to shout out this morning? We are weaving them together after our beautiful Birkot HaShachar. Here we go. Who's got one? Praise are you, source of life, who
gives us our homes.
Gives us our homes. Amen. Praised are you, source of life, who gives us music, who gives us rhythm, who gives us the beat. Amen. Praised are you, source of life, who yeah. Oh, we're going to do that together, okay? Praised are you, source of life, who moves us from grief to the next stage in life. Amen. It's a new day and a chance to say thank you for my blessings in every way. It's a new day and a chance to say thank you for my blessings in every way. We're going to get two more or so to make sure that we all feel like we've had a chance to put that into the room. Robert, I'm looking at you. Praised are you, source of life, who gives us beautiful children to enjoy. Amen. Praised are you, source of life, who gave us Shabbat and Torah and community and an opportunity to be our best. Amen. Woo. I hope that you take that one with you and enjoy every morning an opportunity to weave your blessings. Good morning, Audrey. Shabbat Shalom. We are going to move to Baruch She'amar, recognizing even more of the world's creation, of God's creation of the world, the beautiful pieces. If your mind has been stressed, if your mind has been overwhelmed, this is such a beautiful moment to simply step back and think about what is a part of nature, what is a place in the world that makes you feel most alive. Baruch She'amar. If you would like to stand, you're welcome, or if you want to just raise in your sit to feel elevated. We are here at Baruch She'amar on 122. Baruch She'amar v'haya olam, Baruch hu, Baruch oseh bereshit, Baruch omer ve'oseh, Baruch ozer u'chayei, Baruch merachel mala'am, For those who are just joining, we are in our exploration of tefillah this morning, taking time to just slow down, taking time to reintegrate ourselves into our prayer experience and possibly making a new moment with the tefillah that many of us have been doing for so long. We're going to move to the Ashrei. And I lived in Sedona for a while. It's 136, sorry. I lived in Sedona for a while, and I had a chance to work at the synagogue under Rabbi Alicia Magal. If you've not had a chance to pray with her or learn from her, it is quite a wonderful experience. And she's an extraordinary teacher in spirit, and she's been holding the Jewish community in Sedona together for decades. When she would get to the Ashrei with her community, she would have them make their own acrostic of how we see God in the world. And we're going to do that this morning. So what we're going to do is we're going to sing this first line. And if you may know that the Ashrei is an acrostic, the alphabet put together, and every single line is writing something in the alphabetical order about how God shows up in the world. Who knows the letter that is missing? The letter that is missing in this acrostic is Nun. Why? For the Nephilim, the ones who have fallen away. And as a gesture to God in these Psalms, the psalmist chose not to use that to recognize our choosing to be with God and being on the right path. So what we're going to do this morning is we're going to sing our lines of the first line of Ashrei, and then together, alphabetically, how we see God show up in the world, A, B, and C. And you'll just shout it out, and we'll weave it into our song. So Ashrei together. Ashrei Yoshvei Almighty. Be what? Be benevolent. C. Charitable. D. Do or what? Divine. And E. We see God in the world through acts of E, or ways of E. Eternal, and F. Forgiving. Insightful, double take on that one. Whoa, insightful. J. Jewish and just. K. For kindness. L. Loving. M. Merciful. Maternal. None. N. We'll do N in ours. Nurturing. All right. O. Omnipresent. Oh, present. I'll take another P. Q. What? Queenly. Robert for the win. Queenly. S. Q. R. You're right. R. Righteous. And now the S. Steve, what do you got for God and S? Sympathetic. And T. Truthful. U. Almost there. Understanding. Take a breath and feel that in your body. V. Virtuous. W. Wise. X. Exceptional. Take it. Y. Why not? How about you? God is part of you. You, beautiful. And Z. A zest for life. Work weaving together our own poem. Glad the Ashrei is written for us. We don't have to reinvent it every day, but a nice opportunity to remind us of what is going on. We join together. Take a moment to think about moments of joy in 2021, reasons you celebrate, perhaps the fact that you're here, that you have friends to call, people to love, art to look at, music to listen to. We are in Hallelujah, a moment of true celebration because, again, why not? Hallelujah, hallelujah. 141. Every morning in our prayers, we recall the epic journey our ancestors took leaving Egypt in the poetic Song of the Sea. We recall the narrowness into the great expanse And the section on 143 is written just as it is in the Torah. Nikki, is Barbara online? Oh no. Okay. Thank you, sweetie. If you've missed my introduction, this is my husband, Yosef, if you've not had a chance to meet him. So grateful for your rhythm, keeping us in the beat. Appreciate you. So if you look here on 143, and maybe you've not known this, or maybe you have, I'm sure many of you know way more than I. But this is written exactly as it is. And it's written like this so that as we read it, two things happen. One, we take pause. It's not a paragraph. It's a poetic retelling of the most important part of our story. But two, that we actually can sing it, that there is just like you would read Shakespeare is written in a particular way, so too this part of our prayers every single morning. So if we have her now, it would be amazing, but perhaps you know Barbara Dreyfus, who is an incredible soul and spirit and poet. And when I asked her if she could share with us an original poem for this particular morning of Shabbat, for welcoming 2022, would you believe that the poem she wrote reflected so much of the journey we've all been through in this last year, from the narrowness to the hope of the great expanse? Is she there? She is not there. So I will let us hang for a moment on that, because we have other opportunities where we will recall the Song of the Sea later in Mikamocha. So if she joins us later, then perhaps she will join us. So what we do in our narrowness, is we sing. We sing for the moments that we are in grief, and we sing for the moments that we are in joy. And if you haven't had a chance yet this Shabbat morning, on the first day of 2022, please let this be your moment to breathe and sing. For our strength in our song can be our true redemption. So that is what we are going to sing this morning, the words of Ozi v'zimrat Yah. My strength and song for the infinite will be what saves me. In the Hebrew, it's the third line in our poetic breakdown. How can song, okay, so this is my little instrument called a shruti. It's an East Indian, kind of like a harmonium. And it's gonna help us chant this particular song this morning, holding for us a tone to sing and let out the worries, let out the narrowness, and open ourselves to a sense of expanse.
Recording in progress. Recording stopped.
thinking, okay, well, we will always have room for Barbara in our space. We're preparing for the Shachrit part of our service. We're going to move to 148, a part of our Yishtabach, which is really recognizing, again, a weaving of all of these beautiful things. And you're going to see on a list of on your supplements some of the words, maybe, that made our acrostic and a few others that didn't. And it happens in the middle of our paragraph at the Shir Ushvacha, particular part of this. And the reason I want to point this out is because we're preparing ourselves to do the Baruch Hu. And in this particular paragraph, we are framing God in a sense of beauty. Often we see ourselves putting God onto a throne. But this particular part is actually, it's like the dressing of God. Beauty in our lives, the beauty in the world through song and praise. So on your supplement, you will see under Yishtabach a little bit of English there, song, praise, beauty, and glory will be our introduction into this particular part of our prayers on 148 for the Hebrew on your supplements in the English. Song, praise, beauty, glory, strength, grace, majestic, holy, again, song, praise, beauty, glory, strength, grace, majestic, holy. Shine. this is interesting because I thought maybe I would put her before the Baruch, and here we are. Well, this is interesting because I thought maybe I would put her before the Baruch, and here we are. That's so. If she could help with the kids sometimes, that would be great. You know what I mean? It's me. It's me. Interesting because I thought maybe I would put her before the Baruch, and here we are. Okay. So Barbara, if you can hear us, this is a nice opportunity before we do the Baruch for your beautiful poem. If technology is in our favor at the beginning of this year, we will not let it be a precedent for what the year will bring, but I'm hopeful, as is your beautiful poem, to remind us. Oh, she's there. I see her there. She's there. We're going to unmute you now, Barbara, and welcome you. Please welcome Barbara Dreyfus for this morning's poem. Technology is in our favor at the beginning of this year. We will not let it be a precedent for what the year will bring, but I'm hopeful. Oh, she needs to turn her live stream off?
Stay on Zoom.
Okay, Barbara. Barbara, you need to turn the live stream off, not the Zoom. You need to turn your live stream off. Please welcome Barbara Dreyfus. But yeah, turn the YouTube off, but stay in the Zoom because the feedback is too much. So turn your YouTube off. Precedent for what the year brings, but I'm hopeful. Oh, she needs to turn her live stream off. Okay, Barbara.
Yes.
Barbara, you need to turn the live stream off, not the Zoom. You need to turn your live stream off. Please welcome Barbara Dreyfus.
Turn my live
turn the
stream.
YouTube off, but stay in the Zoom
Okay.
because the feedback is too.
Okay.
You did it. Ladies and gentlemen, Barbara Dreyfus and her beautiful poem, I'm delighted to present to you, Tomorrow's Promise.
Anguish of the 11th plague, the heavy burden on shoulders strong and weak, relentless demand for a journey difficult to travel. Yet hope reigns to discover gifts of silver linings, golden opportunities, life's jewels of illumination. Barred from attending celebrations, an altered life offers new participation, exaltation in innovative, wondrous discoveries. Limited travel, limitless technology merge to offer relief from the tightness of the forced binding shelter. Hours of confinement open newfound joy in reacquaintance with self, with family, close and extended, with home, with nature. Choices appear between chronic sadness and hoped for appreciation of all that is possible, all that is filled with positive anticipation. As weeks and months bring good news and bad, the strength of a coveted promise of healing rises and prevails. Doubt, blanketed with conviction and trust, forms a framework of courageous optimism, opens the welcomed path to a brighter tomorrow. Happier, healthier 2022.
Amen. Yasher kochach. The words that you said, courageous optimism opens the welcomed path to a brighter tomorrow. You are a blessing. Thank you for the blessing of your Torah, Barbara. When you leave the Zoom, you can open your live stream back up to join us yet again. We love you. And with that, we will be lifted to praise God for the courageous optimism we embody in the Baruch Hu on 149. Feel free to make your way on the pages if that feels good to you and your needs for this morning's tefillah. On the bottom of 153, we have the words of Or Chadash. Cause a new light to shine on Tzion, and may we all soon be worthy of its illumination. This beautiful daily prayer, whether Shabbos, a Chag, a regular day of the week, we say the same words. And we ask not for the new light. The new light is written within. It's already an understanding. And we see that again in this week's Parsha. I will save you. I will redeem you. The light is coming. The light is even here for you already. But the prayer here is Veniske kulanu. That we are worthy. That we accept that the light is for us. That we are worthy of the light in our lives and to shine our fullest potential, to live out our blessings. How can we shine a bit more in this year to come? Perhaps we need to see what we did to diminish our own light, and then do the opposite. How will you shine more in the year to come? And I'd love to get a few examples of what you would like to do to bring more of your light in the world. More lighthearted.
Lighthearted.
More lighthearted. More lighthearted.
Following my childhood dream.
Follow the childhood dream. It's time.
This time.
It's time. Beautiful. Holy. How will you bring more light? I'm going to go with benefit of the doubt. I'm going to do more of that. More benefit of the doubt. Being a little bit more gentle in my response, both to myself, to my children, and to those around me. Benefit of the doubt. How will you bring more light into the world this year? More forgiving. Amen. More flexible. Amen. Sharing, giving more. Amen.
Not just feeling more grateful, but expressing my gratitude.
Expressing more gratitude. Amen. Teach more. Get it out. Share what you know. Amen. We need to know. We want to learn from you. Hannah, what comes to you? You said a beautiful one. Yeah, you did. Learn more. Can you bring over here? We begin to recall love. If it feels good to you to dive in the words, the full page of Ahava Rabbah, I want you to have the experience you need this morning. I'm going to share with us these first few words, this first line, that we've been loved. Where could we use a little bit more compassion for ourselves? Take a moment to feel the love in your life. Recall a loving moment. Drop your shoulders. Breathe in to the sweetness of being so embraced just for who you are. Ahava Rabbi Tanu Adonai Eloheinu Hamna Hamla Gidola Viteira Hamotaleinu Ahava We take this beautiful breath of love to listening to our Shema. You gather the corners of your talit. My dad likes to remind me it's all of the generations, the ones before, the ones now, the ones to come. Yeah. Frank says in the name of Rabbi Walker. We're on 155 for the Shema, deep in our souls for the words. Shema Yisrael Adonai together. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha ve'shinantam levanecha ve'dibarta bam ve'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'shochbecha u'v'kulmecha u'kshartan le'ot al yadecha ve'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'hisharecha ve'hayav. We'll do the whole paragraph with the tzitzit together for those who might not be so familiar. When we say the word tzitzit, you give them a kiss if you are wearing. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor da'aber el bnei Yisrael ve'amarta alehem v'asu lahem tzitzit al kanfei v'dehem ledorotam v'natnu al tzitzit al kanfei v'til techelet ve'yalachem letzitzit uritem oto uzkartem mikol mitzvot Adonai va'asitem otom ve'lo taturu acharei levavchem ve'acharei einechem asher etam zonim achareihem leman tiskeru va'asitem mikol mitzvotai v'ayitem kedoshim leloechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher chotzeti etchem me'eret Mitzrayim lehiot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Amen. As we make our way to Mikamocha, feel free to read through the pages. Perhaps there's things you don't normally get a chance to sit with, and we want to be making room for that this morning. That is what it is all about. We're going to pick up together on 158. Tehilot le'elyon Baruch Vora Moshe u'Miriam u'bnei Yisroel Lechanu shira b'simcha raba v'amru kulam Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha now reach the moment of our Amidah, finding ourselves ready to greet God in personal prayer. Joseph, can you raise this up for me just a bit? Yeah, it's great. And again, I want to invite, if you've not had a chance to read some of the English about what's being said in here in this Amidah, this today is a perfect opportunity to do that. Adonai sifatei hiftachu fi agitei latecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth can declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot, U'mevii Goel Lifnei B'neihem, Ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Poked U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham U'Poked Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Meitim Atah Rav L'Hoshia, Mashiach HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechachel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayei Meitim B'Rachamim Rabim, Somach Noflim V'Rofech Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Mikamocha Ba'al Gibburot, U'idom Elach, Melech Meimit Umechayei, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot metim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hametim. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, Kishem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom. Katuv al kadosh ata, baruch ata Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. We continue with our silent prayer. Shabbat Shalom. How is everybody doing? Are we okay? Okay. All right. Well, good. I'm glad it's not terrible. Well, I'm very much enjoying our time together. It's a very special time. It's been a long time to be able to do something quite like this, and I thank you for trying on the morning with me and being here together to do this. We're going to do the Kaddish Shalem, which is going to put a little pause on this part of our service, and then we're going to be moving into our Torah study together. So the words for Kaddish Shalom are on 167. Yikada v'yikada shemei Rabbi ve'amad yivrach yurtei v'michmalchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaydecho b'Yisrael b'galad b'zman kari v'imeru amen yehi shmei Rabbi mevorach le'olam olam me'amaya yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitshema v'yinaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalo shemei l'kudasha v'rechu le'elam michol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran b'yama v'imeru tikabel tzotonu avohon d'chol chadam Yisrael chadam avohon divishmaya v'imeru yehi shlam rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imeru Oh, say shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimeru. Amen. Also want to say Shabbat shalom to Sandy and Linda and Skeeter as well. You've joined us, so great to have you this morning. We are going to take a pause for ourselves and bring in the energy of Torah. I have a fun little nigun that I love to sing when I'm sharing Torah, which is going to be right now. You will know the words. Torah, 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 Torah. Torah, 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 hey. Torah, 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 hey. Torah, 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 hey. Sivat lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 hey. Torah, 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 hey. Torah, 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 hey. Sivat lanu Moshe. Because we are going to be learning Torah this morning, we will not be chanting the Torah unless you find a section in particular you'd like to read from your Chumash. We're going to make the blessing for learning Torah together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Praise are you, Holy One, source of creation, who charges us with holiness like the deeds of studying Torah. Amen. Okay, so this morning we are in Parashat Valera, and we have some books. Actually, Audrey, behind you there's a stack of some Chumash if these gentlemen can't reach one. Okay, let's see if they can get. Lovely. We're going to find the pages together. I have lots of sources for us to look at this morning. We're going to really just use the book. And so whoever finds it can let us know on Parashat Valera. I heard that, Robert. All right, let's see. Okay. Our study is going to start on 351. This is the second parsha of the second book. Last week we began Shmot, which had just like all of the stories. It was just all of the stories. From Moses' birth to Bat Paro to Moses killing the Egyptian and fleeing Midian, the burning bush, the revelation of God's name, Moses returning to Egypt, a new Pharaoh in place. And when Moses comes to the Israelites, they accept him as a leader, which is surprising to him, but he does end up causing matters to get worse. Pharaoh makes the Israelites work even harder. They're not going to be delivered their materials. They have to go and find them now. So we just had everything happen at the beginning of this book. And so now we are in Parashat Valera. And I want to just clear, I have two intentions for this morning's study. First of all, we don't, as a community, often get to sit and study Torah. We do a lot of amazing readers. We have amazing readers, even here in this room. We have several. But to sit and actually grapple through text What's that? 351, right? Yes, you got it. 351. Yes. Thank you. Yes. So I have two goals. One, a clear understanding of the text. What is going on and what new can we gain? So I have selected sections of the Parsha that we're going to be reading together. If you do read, Frank has a microphone here, and just for our own sake to be able to hear, and anybody who's streaming will also be able to hear you. That will be what we're going to do. So we're going to go through together several sections that I've identified. Of course, you can read off the page. I know I always would have. So feel free to travel on your own journey. But the other piece of this intention is, how can we use this week's Parsha as a tool for seeing ourselves and being launched into 2022? So as we read through the text today, I'm going to stop us and offer some personal journey connection points that we can use the Torah as a lens, but then skip to find our next spot. So we'll be looking at ourselves and we'll be looking at the text. There's some interesting things that I found this week that I didn't know, but again, you guys have a lot of Torah, so we're going to be learning together. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. These are just some things that I found along the way. Our Parsha begins. We're going to read the very first, just these very first two verses, 2, 3, and 4, actually. So if I could have someone go ahead and just read the opening, that would be awesome. Helene, great.
At 2?
Yes.
Just make sure you put it right up. There you
2. I am the Lord. According to the Midrash.
Wait, hold on one second. God spoke to Moses.
go. You're gonna do it here.
Different 2. Okay.
Oh, but cool. You may find some interesting tidbits in there. Okay, go on.
God spoke to Moses and said to him, I am the Lord. I appeared to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as El Shaddai, but I did not make myself known to them by my name.
Yud-Hey, Vav.
Yud-Hey, Vav-Hey.
Beautiful. Okay, stop. Again, if you are tuning in online, we're at Parashat Valera. So it's the second book of the book of Shemot. Hopefully you can find it online, or you have a Tanakh to join us. I look forward to comments in the chat. Okay, so this is what we do when we study Torah. What do? We read and we go, what questions do we have? What do you notice in the text? What's coming up for us already? Just in these few lines. We're going to do a really close look. God spoke to Moses, I am Yud-Hey Vav-Hey. I am this infinite. I appeared to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as who?
El Shaddai.
But I did not make myself known to them. What comes up for us? Maybe it makes sense to you. Why does it make sense? Or maybe it doesn't make sense. What's going on here?
So God is reintroducing a new name or a
Oh,
new
there, yes,
relationship.
yes.
Great.
God is introducing himself with a new name, Yud-Hey Vav-Hey, and maybe a new relationship to relate to him. Her.
Wonderful, wonderful. So a reintegration of your ancestors knew me this way, but this is who I really am. Now that's interesting. This is maybe who, yes, Hannah, great.
It seems that every time there is a big event is going to happen, there is a new name. Like Avram became Avraham, and Sarai became Sarah, and Jacob became Israel. So it's every time there is something big going to happen, it's like it's happening under a different name.
This is a very awesome point to recognize. And Rabbi Sachs, Lord Rabbi, may his memory be, Jonathan Sachs, may his memory be for a blessing, he teaches us that the entry of Yud-Hey Vav-Hey is to suggest that there is major destruction with the hope of redemption. So you're right, Hannah, that the name is a significant shift. Something is different now. Beautiful, bracha. Yeah.
Define El Shaddai better.
Okay, fantastic. El Shaddai. We know the ancient name, a word for deity is El. It is a name for God. We hear that in Elohim, which, by the way, is not God's plural, right? There's extra letters in there. It would be Elim, or, right, we see that in Mi Kamocha. But Elohim is another one. So El Shaddai. We have a few different ways to break this down. On the linguistic part of it, the sh is that which is, just like we would say, like, we would use that shin as a prefix to the word, that. And dai, what is dai?
Enough.
Enough. So on one level, we could look at the God who said that is enough. On another level, the rabbis could see this as the God who is enough, a God of enoughness. However, Shaddai is connected to shad, or shadaim, which are breasts. So shadaim is actually a symbol of a breasted God, which is directly connected to the fertility symbol of ancient Israel, of ancient Mesopotamia, and that they took upon this nurturing, maternal God who supported the birthing of the Jewish people pre-Exodus. So the name for Shaddai is feminine. Shaddai is feminine, but El is masculine. And so this also reflects a possible binary construct of God. Both parts of the name are used independently, El Shaddai, but together it creates a non-binary, a gender-fluid place of God. So we have a variety of different ways that we can look at this, and we should. I will also let you know that we get often someone, we said that Almighty. Some of us will look at El Shaddai and say a God of Almighty. It actually comes from Arabic. I have it here that Al-Kahar is victorious and mighty. Rabbi Samuel of Nagid explained that we see Shaddai is connected to an Arabic word which meant Almighty. So there are several ways of looking at God, but I would say the feminist movement are going to look at this nurturing, milky God, if you will, who births. Robert, yeah.
So here we see God is revealing names, but in Genesis we see Abraham and Hagar use their own names for God. Abraham calls out to God in despair because he doesn't have a child, and Hagar uses a different name because she's so joyful and thankful for God saving her child.
Beautiful. So you are channeling the rabbis of the Midrash. The rabbis of the Midrash are going to ask the same question. Like you, Hannah, recognize these names are significant. What is going on here? So here is some fun little information. Our Midrash teaches us that when God is judging people, so using judgment, God is known as Elohim. Judgment is connected to Elohim. When God is waging war, God is Adonai Tzevaot, the Lord of hosts. When judgment is suspended, also known as offering of compassion, which God might we find there? Not mercy, but a suspension of judgment, El Shaddai. But ultimate mercy, the mercy for the world, is the Yod He Vav He, as we find in Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum, V'Chanun. And this is interesting because it will come up later in this week's Parsha on these levels of God. So we see that when the different names for God, it's reflecting God's role in the world. Thank you, Robert, for bringing that up. So we see that Abraham got a part of God. But it may just be that Moshe gets all. And maybe we can unpack that for a long period of time as to why then, why now? Or was God ready to fully reveal God's self at that point? And maybe this is the time when we really need God the most. I want to pause in this particular moment on our reflection of names, and you're all picking up on all these great little nuances. But here's an opportunity for a personal reinvention. Are there parts of ourselves, or even labels we've placed on things, perhaps even the way we look at the past year, that we are ready to rename? Are we ready to rename a part of ourselves or a part of the story that we are telling? We hear here that God is changing the name based on the role as we walk into 2022. What is maybe a new name or a new way that we would like to look at ourselves or even look at the world? I want to invite you, if something comes up, for some it may be no, but I want to push us. Turn to somebody, or maybe you want to share out loud. Is there a new name or a new label that we want to place moving forward?
This may not be what you're looking for, but it's what came to mind. And that is, we're beginning to hear about COVID. It's no longer a pandemic, but endemic. A new way of looking at it as something that we're going to have to learn to live with. Maybe not so lethal, but troublesome, and something we'll just have to learn to live with.
That is so on point with where we're at. And I think that it even speaks to us, Frank, maybe the story we tell ourselves or we've been living, dealing with this terrible time, even the way that I use this terrible time, it is. It's difficult, it's frustrating, it's concerning. And I know that when we often think about 2021, I spoke about this last night in my Devar, it's easy to label all of last year as bad, but it's not. What is the new name, the new relationship, the new story we want to have with ourselves, our history, moving forward? The answer may not come just yet. And if you would like to turn to somebody and reflect that for a minute, would you like to do that? To just give yourself a chance. What would be a new way to connect? So I want to invite you, find the person next to you, and just, is there a new way you would like to look at the world moving forward? Let's do that. Possibly. You may be a new name for yourself, a new way you want to work in the world, or it could be simply a new way that you want to see the world and embody it.
Audrey, can you repeat that? We didn't hear it.
The question was, if you are talking about creating a new identity for the individual, for yourself.
And you can, you could say, I want to take on the name of courageous. I want to take on the name of open-hearted. Or I simply want to say, I'm going to step into the story of Hakarat Hatov. I need to do a better job of seeing what is good. So this is just simply the opportunity to think about how you're stepping into 22. What label, what name, what identity do you want to give upon yourself to do that? Take a moment to turn to Steve, you have a thought here. Yes.
So speaking of new identities, I was in New York a couple of weeks ago, and you are no longer identified by just your ID. You have to produce a vaccination card almost everywhere you go. So let's tattoo that to our foreheads so we don't lose it, and have it part of our new identity.
Wow.
Because that seems to be the protocols, at least for now, in New York City.
Wow. Wow. Survivor. You're saying that becomes a new label, perhaps moving forward.
Survive the pandemic, hopefully still around.
Amen.
Amen. And survivors of this very, very difficult 2-year period.
Amen.
That we've come hopefully to the other side, and it's like crossing the Red Sea and coming out on the other end.
Beautiful. To be able to acknowledge the hard time we have had to acknowledge the difficulty we faced, whether it's the pandemic, a breakup, a change of reality, whatever it is, to notice there's been difficulty and I've overcome that, or I am overcoming that. Right? Or even our tradition says a way to change your fate is to change your name. So there may be some way that we want to acknowledge ourselves when we wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I am this person now. I am that flexible person. I am that person who has benefit of a doubt. If there's more about this, feel free to share. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on because there's a lot. And what we're gonna find in this week's Parsha is this wrestling with change. Can I embody this new identity, right, or this new label that I'd like to place on my future, myself, or the world I want to swim in, or not? Am I going to be able to do some of these things differently in the future? So let's go to verse 5 and 5 through 7, if we can get a reader.
Actually, I was going to go back one step.
Oh. So I left her saying, okay, we may only get so far.
I'm just going to derail. No, so changing the name to make a new person, I'm thinking, is that also done as a business entity?
Yeah.
Like Facebook went
Sure.
through a name change. I don't see how it changes anything, but they must have thought it was worth something.
Well, that's an interesting point, but yes, it definitely does. We know that names carry their own energy and they carry their own history and story. And I also want to say that for many people who are dealing with serious health issues, even like near-death experiences, often in many Jewish communities, you'll get a new Hebrew name or you'll get an extra one as a way of stepping into this new world that you live in. So I think if businesses have their own story, then so too shall their name carry a journey. Okay? All right, let's move on. We're going to be on verse 5 through 7.
I have now heard the moaning of the Israelites because the Egyptians are holding them in bondage, and I've remembered my covenant. Say, therefore, to the Israelite people, I am the Lord. I will free you from the labors of the Egyptians and deliver you from their bondage. I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and through extraordinary chastisements, and I will take you to be my people, and I will be your God. And you shall know that I, the Lord, am your God who freed you from the labors of the Egyptians.
Okay, great. Stop. Just a quick summary. What's happening here? The promise, okay? But also that there is hardship in Egypt, even more so now. I found it very interesting. Like, I have now heard the moaning. And you have to wonder, how long do we sit in places of discomfort before we say something? You may have been in an uncomfortable situation, and it takes us a minute sometimes to actually say, I need to go. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, we don't, until we hear ourselves, we can't move.
Say more. Say more. Until we hear ourselves. Say more about that.
Oh, well, I mean, everybody else hears you moaning and complaining, and one day you get it yourself.
Oh, I see. So it's not enough to just to complain out loud, but we actually need to start listening to what it is that's going on. Oh.
So, as I often say, the longest distance in the universe is between your mouth and your own ears.
The longest distance between the universe is between our own mouth and our ears. Powerful. So we have this. I just want to point this out. How many of us have stayed in relationships, in a home, in a job that is really not the right fit for even a city or a state? It's not right. But sometimes we endure. We know we need to be sure that we're taking care of our responsibilities, but we know that actually it's not the right thing at all for us. And we put off, and we put off, and we put off actually taking care of what we need to take care of. Leaving the job, leaving the relationship, changing the community, whatever it is. We allow suffering on great scales in our own life. And you know that if a friend came up to you and they said what was going on, you would say, oh, well, you better get out of there. And you're like, well, right? this is a pause right here for us to simply look. Are we speaking up and taking action on the things that do not serve us? And are we ready to make some changes about it? Just a beautiful little interpersonal connection on how the Torah can help us see a part of our lives. Anyone want to say anything on that? Okay. So what do we see here on these lines? This is the promise in the middle of 6. I will free you. I will deliver you. I will redeem you. And I will take you. What does this connect us to? We live this out every year?
Passover.
Passover, but what specifically about Passover?
4 cups of wine.
The 4 cups of wine. But, there's another promise here. Let's look at 8. What does 8 say? I will bring you into the land which I swore to give Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. There's 5 promises here. So what now?
5th cup.
Which one?
Elijah.
Hey, very good. This is a nice little moment to just say, we take on the 4 cups. That is part of our inherent relationship to God. The 5th to symbolize Mashiach, an enduring promise, which I want to just place there. If we know that there is an enduring promise of hope, an enduring promise of peace, should it allow our lives to be a little bit more well? I think so. And I think it's something that we often forget, that there is a promise of a world to come. There is a promise of peace. But inside so much of the tension and stress, we do lose sight of it. And I just thought that was an important one to put out there. So what is your 5th cup? What is on that table for you in 2022 that may be the symbol of your personal levels of completion, of redemption, and of joy? By the way, we're 105 days to Passover, so just, you're welcome. So eat those bagels now, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. All right, so back in the story, things are going to get worse for the Israelites. And at this point, they're really even too tired to hear Moses. Moses is already grateful for the fact that they have willingly accepted him as a leader for them. And who, by the way, is right hand to Moses? Aaron, very good. And one of the things that we're going to find in the text, just an interesting note, is sometimes Moses is listed first, and it'll say Moshe v'Aaron, but sometimes it'll say Aharon u'Moshe. And the rabbis teach us this is very significant to show that neither has more power than the other, that they really are a partnership in this. And we will find, actually, in the coming moment, that if it weren't for Aharon, many of these plagues actually couldn't have even happened. So Aharon is going to be just as important as Moses in this whole story. So what's going to happen in this parsha now is that we're going to get a little bit of family tree. And the reason the Torah is doing this is because it wants to show us that Moses and Aharon are the right people to take the leadership of this particular community. But I found something interesting through the reading of this very short lineage, which is not everybody, but it's enough for us to get a little taste of it. That I want to show you. So go to verse 18. We're still in chapter 6. Go to verse 18. We're going to read 18 and then skip to 20. I'll read it just for the sake of ease, and I'll have someone read the next section. Okay. The sons of Kohat, Amram, Izchar, Hebron, and Uziel. And the span of Kohat's life was 133 years. So who do we need to know from that particular line is Amram, right? Kohat birthed Amram, and Amram will be who? The father of Moshe and and Aharon. Very good. And thank you for listening, her, because somebody forgot to mention that in here. So now go to 20. This is what I thought was just an interesting little piece of Torah. I did not know, or maybe I did and just chose to not remember, but this is interesting. Verse 20. Amram took to wife his father's sister, Yocheved. And she bore him Aharon and Moses. Oh yeah, Miriam's not listed, which we'll get to in a second. But I don't know that I ever remembered the fact that Amram married his aunt. And so we know that family circles are very different in the Torah, and this was one of those moments I go, oh, well, I just didn't know. So now you know, and we all know together that that is the story of Amram and Yocheved's connection. His kids were his cousins. It is an interesting situation. It's maybe why they're not listed in the previous Parsha when they just had a baby and that was it. That's all we needed to know. But just thought you would appreciate that. And I just want to mention, my dad said Miriam is the child of Amram and Yocheved, or the nephew or niece. But she's not listed here. Why? Why do you think that she's not listed here? And what does this tell us about other parts of Torah?
Well, it only says the sons here.
Great. It just says the sons. So what does that tell us about the Torah? We could say that it's sexist, but that there are hidden women everywhere. When you read a family lineage and you see all the men's names, you can only imagine all of the women. And Rabbi Lynn Gottlieb, who is an amazing feminist rabbi, wild, free spirit, she's been doing this for decades. She sent me a little note because I was sharing in one of my groups, I'm going to do this, and she says, just remember, if you don't see women, it's because they're actually there. So I just want to put that on the table because this week's Parsha, we will not have any. Last week we had them all. This week we won't see them, but they really are there. And I think for women, we just need to be reminded, in particular, and men too, there are so many other voices that are being woven here through our text.
And Rabbi, I think you can also see that today if, I had an experience recently to attend a Shiva Minyan conducted by an Orthodox rabbi. We had more than 10 people there, but more than half of them were women. And, I think it was like one of those times where it's like they were waiting for the men to show up. The women were invisible.
Yes.
It was very disheartening to see that, and I'm a male.
Yeah.
But it felt very difficult to sit there and wait for more men to show up because they couldn't do it that way. So it's another example of what might have been here.
And I think this is actually a really great point to let you know, if you've not seen in the Jewish News, Shannon Levitt just wrote an article celebrating the 50th anniversary of the first American ordained female rabbi. And she interviewed almost all of the women rabbis here in the Valley and got our feedback on what it's like to be a woman in this world. And it's just a really interesting take on all these different ways from women who are like, yeah, this is great. And then the rest of us who are like, we still have some problems, such as these things. So that's an interesting thing after Shabbat, if you're curious while we celebrate the anniversary. Okay, so we're going to move a little bit as we continue to look at how change can become very difficult in our lives. Let's go to chapter 6. We're going to go to verse 29, and we're going to read through the second verse of 7. So basically the whole page on page 356, starting at verse 29.
And the Lord said to Moses, I am the Lord, speak to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, all that I will tell you. Moses appealed to the Lord, saying, see, I am of impeded speech. How then should Pharaoh heed me?
Keep going.
The Lord replied to Moses, see, I place you in the role of God to Pharaoh. With your brother Aaron as your prophet, you shall repeat all that I command you, and your brother Aaron shall speak to Pharaoh to let the Israelites depart from his land.
Okay. Did anything jump out to you in what you just read? Okay, Moses does have a speech impediment, and we actually have seen this a little bit, and there's some midrash on this, but I'm glad you brought that up, Helene, because how many of us say, I'm not capable enough to do that thing? And I just want to Torah aside for a second, personal integration. How often are we asked to do something, or maybe there's an opportunity, but the story is I don't actually have the capability to do that. If that is you, something that you're dealing with your life right now for 2022, here is a grand invitation. If Moses has a speech impediment and has to really work to lead a people, and he's able to do it, then you can too. You might just need a second hand next to you, and that's totally kosher. We'll find that in a second. But just a nice moment. Yeah.
Just have a thought, because that came up recently, because sometimes we were so focused on the how we're doing things. And it's just very ambiguous at times. And I think I've come to realize more it's the whom I'm doing it with. Because the how remains somewhat flexible and we will figure it out. And here it's also in this story. It's not exactly the how that is clear, but God gives Moses clarity on the whom he's doing something with to achieve an ambiguous task.
Beautiful. Okay, what else comes up for you in this particular section of Torah? Look closely. There's a strange phrase between God and Moses. Yeah.
For me, it stands out. I place you in the role of God to Pharaoh.
Okay, so
Moses is elevated to God. Nice.
we heard earlier that the different levels of God, the different names of God, are going to have different roles. So what's going on here? Moses is now going to be placed as a God over Pharaoh. What kind? Who can find it in the text? What is the God name? Elohim. Great, which we learned is the God of judgment. God is going to charge Moshe to truly see what this leader is as a human. Watch how he takes control and power, or he tries to. This is going to be an important part for Moses to recognize what type of leader he does not want to be. This type of leader will get so much backlash from his attempts to control and power and try to manipulate for his own self-gain, that God is literally charging Moshe here to say, I'm going to place you in this particular position. I want you to watch this human and see how they respond and learn from this. And perhaps there's other things. I know we've got to refine it. Yes.
In a conservative setting like this, if I were on the bema and I said Baruch Atah Elohim, is that acceptable?
Baruch Atah Elohim.
Yes.
Though I would say that if you are wanting to find a new word for the tetragrammaton, for the Yud He Vav He constellation, there are other ways to do that. There's Havaya, or there's Yah. It wouldn't be unacceptable, but it may be, if we're trying to find a new way of saying, because many people get uncomfortable with Adonai, right, my Lord, I would say we probably could find other words, which is Havaya, but there are ways. Shekhinah, some have done as well. It's not inappropriate. It's not inappropriate, but I would say it would be different, and it would be like, hey, that's cool. What's going on here? Okay. Thank you for asking.
Thank you.
So I know we've got to start wrapping up, but there's quite a bit more that I want to simply at least say. And that what we're going to see, and we also see here in this line, but I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that I may multiply my signs and marvels of the land, that we have there on verse 3. God, as we hear, is going to harden Pharaoh's heart throughout this entire parsha. And what's going to happen is that it's going to cause Pharaoh, as we all know, the inability to let the Jews go, the Israelites go. But my question for you is, how many plagues in do you think it takes for Pharaoh to start buckling? For Pharaoh to start thinking that maybe this is not a good idea and that he should, in fact, let the Israelites go? How many plagues? We're going to have 7 in this parsha. How many of them do you think it's going to take for Pharaoh to start getting weak in the knees? You think it's going to take all 7 before he goes, maybe I got to reconsider? In fact, it's the second. It's the second one. And by the time we get to the second plague, Pharaoh is like, all right, you know what? If you can what's the second plague? Frogs. If you can get these frogs out of here, I'll let your people go. And as soon as Pharaoh gets what he wants, what happens? He changes his mind. What we're going to see is this is going to happen each and every time. And what I want to offer to us this Shabbat, obviously there's so much more to unpack and journey, and I'm sorry we have to cut ourselves short here, is that it's not enough to say, these are the changes that I want to make. It's not enough to say them out loud. We actually have to have a plan. Because change is hard. And that's why we started up with this Torah learning today on what new name, what newness might you call in for 2022? Because if we know anything, change really is hard. Our habits are ingrained, and we see that through Pharaoh's actions. So I want to bless us that we get clear on our plan of what it is that we need to bring the change in our lives, and find an accountability partner. Because what we see with Moshe, he's not alone. By the way, side note, you know that Moshe is not the person who brings the plague of blood onto the Nile. It's Aaron. Aaron also does the frogs. Why? Because the Nile saved Moses' life. He teaches us to acknowledge where we come from, even if it's not the place where we want to be, even if we have our own stories about it. Finding a deep reverence for where we come from what our past is, and being willing to change for the better in the future. Shabbat Shalom. Let me know what changes come up for you, and if I can hold you, maybe you can hold me accountable for mine as well. We are going to wrap up our service this morning. I do have to let you know that we have a new month. So quickly, what we are going to do is we are going to rise to our feet. I need someone to come and open up the ark for us. We're going to turn to 180 because this coming week we have a new month, so it's our holy obligation to acknowledge to the community that we in fact are going to be welcoming the new month. As you open the ark and we are standing together, I want to invite you, new month, new year, new opportunity. Let's read together in the English on 180. May it be your will, Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors, grant that this coming, Harmony, you want to come here? Here, come on in. You could hold the torch. Okay. Let's go. Let's start from the beginning. May it be your will, Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors, grant that this coming month bring us goodness and blessing, and bestow on us a long life, a life that is peaceful, a life that is good, a life that is blessed, a life with proper sustenance, a life with physical vitality, a life conscious of heaven's demands and wary of sin, a life free of shame and reproach, a life of abundance and honor, a life of love and Torah, conscious of heaven's demands, a life in which the worthy desires of our hearts are fulfilled. Amen. We make this blessing recognizing the arrival of the new month. Misha sani sim levotenu li'imotenu v'ga'alotam mavadut l'cherut hu yigalotanu b'karov v'ki beitz nichenu merba kamfot haaretz haverim kol Yisrael v'nomar amen. Rosh Chodesh Shabbat yeh b'yom sheni haba aleinu v'al kol Yisrael letova. May the Holy One, may God who wrought miracles from our ancestors, redeeming them from slavery to freedom, redeem us soon and gather our dispersed from the four corners of the earth. May the entire people Israel be united in friendship, and let us say, Amen. The new month of Shabbat will begin on Sunday night, Monday morning. May it hold blessing for us and all of people Israel. May the Holy One bless this new month for us and for the entire people Israel with a life of peace. Amen. Joy and gladness. Amen. Deliverance and consolation. And let us say, Amen. We want to touch the Torah and give a kiss? Great. We put the Torah back. As the Torah is put away, you can be seated once it is closed. We're going to take a quick pause to make a blessing for those who are in need of healing. Gil Van Order, Linda Pressman, Howard Trout Sr., Esther Batya Bayakov, Margie Leibovitz, Aviva Chana Bat Tova Tikva Bechai Melech, Marty Cohen, Miriam Bat Ariella, Iris Granik, Pat Schrenker, Leonard Schwartz, Victoria Pullman, Lel Lubig, Phyllis Weinstein, David Cohen, Harav Tzivia Chana Bat Sarah, U Yirmiyachel Yosef, Yehudit Bat Chana, Terry and Adam LaFrance. We're thinking of Daniel Katz and Arnold Cohen, Mayor David Ben Bridel, Brooklyn Adley Moskowitz, Betty Hirsch, Shalom Ben Pesel, Chaim Michael Ben Yitzchak V'Yocheved, Eliyahu David Ben Yehudit Chana, Chaim Ben Chana V'Leval, Irene Martin, Brian Perlman, Shiri Bat Chaya V'Moshe, Chaya Chosel Bat Tavora, Arnold Boardman, Chaya Bat Rela, Rafael Chaim Ben Sylvia, from Elka Bat Arya Lev Esther Bachal, Roberta Lipsman, Sarah Vida Bat Esther, Perla Bat Hilia Esther, Barak Ben Bracha. Mishe Beirach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who has blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And let us say, Amen. Mishe Beirach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shleima, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. May their healing come soon with tenderness and love. Amen. We're going to go right to the Kaddish Shalem, which is on page 150. Nope, that's not it. 203. What? 203, there it is. Yikana Hashem Rabba ve'amadi b'achirti ve'michlokoti v'chaychon ve'mechon v'chaydichon Yisrael galam izman kari ve'yimeru Yehishmi Rabba mevorach le'olam olam me'amaya yiparach Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yishama v'yinasei v'yitadar v'yitala v'yitala shemid kudasha le'elam michol birchata v'shirata tishbechata v'nechamata damiran b'yama v'yimeru Tika Batzotron, Abuhon, the Hoy Israel Kanamavon, Vishmaya Vaimeru. Yehesh Lamarabita Maya, Vachaim Elena Velko Israel, Vaimeru. Oh, say shalom, Birama, Buya, say shalom. Alenu Velko Israel, Velko Yoshbiti Vel, Vaimeru. Amen. We're at Ein Kelohenu on 204. My Ladino is rough, but hopefully yours is better, so we're going to give this one a try. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkenu, Ein Kemoshienu. No como nuestro Dios, no como nuestro Señor, no como nuestro Rey, no como nuestro Salvador. Mi Kelohenu, mi Kadonenu, mi Kemalkenu, mi Kemoshienu. Ken como nuestro Dios, ken como nuestro Señor, ken como nuestro Rey, ken como nuestro Salvador. No da la Elohenu, lo da Adonenu, no da la Makenu, no da la Moshienu. La Mr. Dios, la Mr. Señor, la Mr. Rey, la Mr. Salvador. Baruch Elohenu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Makenu, Baruch Moshienu. Better Mr. Yo, better Mr. Yo, better Mr. Rey, better Mr. Salvador. Atahu Elohenu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. To the Mr. Yo, to the Mr. Yo, to the Mr. Rey, to the Mr. Salvador. Hey la 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 la, yeah la 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 la, yeah la 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 la, and la 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 la, and la 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 la, hey la 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 la. For the Aleinu, it's upon us to take our thoughts into actions, creating goodness in the world. 205. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateket u'la'yam se'er b'reshit, shelo asanu k'gurei haratzot, velo shamanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sham chalkeinu kahan, v'gor aleinu k'chol amanam, אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. כך כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. If you are not reciting a yard site or in mourning, you may be seated. This week we remember Alex Handelman, Judith Branick, Jack Schwartz, Joseph Krasinski, Joyce Callender, Samuel Lipsman, Sanford Bloom, Stanley Gamson, Stanley Rosenfeld, Larry Gossman, Miriam Schaefer, Samuel Ingleson, Morris Volsky, Freda Techtel, Harold Techtel, Philip Meltzer. We remember Roselle Cohen, Richard Opper, Arthur Feldschreiber, Mindy Gubin, Philip Schwartz, Marilyn Bernard, and Philip Hirsch. Do we have other names to add? The words giving thanks to their life and their memory of Mourner's Kaddish is on 207. Yit Gadol, Ve'yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, Ve'alma Tivrach Hiruteh, Ve'amlich Machuteh, V'chayechon U'vyomechon, V'chayei B'chol Beit Yisrael, Va'agala U'bizman Kariv V'imru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Omei Omayah. Yitbarach Ve'yishtabach v'yitra'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnasen, v'yitadar, v'yithaleh, v'yithalal, shemei zekudsha. Ve'ela min kol birchata, v'shirata, tushbechata, v'nechemata, da'amiran v'yalma, v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mirma, huya asei shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru. Amen. We'll have some announcements. I want to thank you, Linda and Skeeter, for some extra shout outs. We appreciate you being here, and Michael too, thinking of your mother and her well-being. Ray Jacobson with some announcements.
My pleasure, and real quick, since I see the time, first of all, thank you, Rabbi Aviva. It was a wonderful service this morning, and study, enjoyed. I told Aviva that, I'm not sure how many people are going to show up, but we'd have a chavruta anyway, so appreciate everybody who came here and online. Thank you very, very much, and thank you for a very special morning. Nikki, thank you also for your technical assistance. No Kiddush this week. Join us next week. We'll resume Kiddush again. Also a mazel tov to Cantor Rubinstein and Keith Sherman on the birth of their baby boy this past week. Just so happy for you. Can't wait to hear the name, which will be, of course, at their brit. And we will learn more about that in this coming week, I'm sure. But hopefully mom and dad and grandparents and everybody and baby are doing super well. So we love you, and we wish you the very, very best. And we can just check the bulletin for all the things that are going on. Lots of things happening. I want to call Mitzvah Day to your attention on Sunday the 16th. It's our opportunity to do some good in the community. So please take a look online, see how you can help. Rita, thank you so much for your leadership and the Social Action Committee to putting all that together. Rabbi Green will be back on the 3rd of January, or somewhere, I think the 3rd or 4th of January. We'll be back next week for services. So please join us again at that time. Oh, and my son-in-law, Yosef, I love your drumming. Thank you so much. It adds a wonderful rhythm and heartbeat, if you will, to our service. So thanks so much for doing that. Your rhythm is so much better than mine. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
And Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. I thought we would end with a poem, but I'm going to let you take it home. On the source sheet, there's an incredible poem for you to read to yourself, read with a loved one over Kiddush, on a similar theme of leaving the darkness and heading into a year of light. So take that home, enjoy that for yourself.
I forgot to thank Barbara Dreyfus.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. Barbara, if you're still on, if not, please know how much we appreciate your participation this morning. Thank you very much.
Let's finish ourselves together. I don't see a cup of grape juice, but what? I do see a cup of grape juice. Then we're going to go right into Vishamru, and we will conclude our service that way. So please rise. We're on 77 together. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit ha'olam ma'ai be'i u'be'i Yisrael tilei olam ki sheshet yamim aseh Adonai et ha-Shemayim ve'et ha'aretz bayom ha'shevi'i Shabbat ba'i nafash al kein barach Adonai et yom ha'Shabbat v'kadshehu savri baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam borei beri ha'gafen. Does Harmony want to drink the juice for us? I think she should. I want to wish you all a happy new year, a Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Adonai ozlam u'itein, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Happy New Year. Thank you again for coming. See you soon.